H-R-O-O-H-O. Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Shrockstar Shaun, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear. O-H-O-O-H-O. TG and Shaun, bringing that smoke. They stand in the paint, that ain't no joke. Tune in, turn up, let the show begin. The Buckeye Lounge, straight fire within. O-H-O-O-H-O. Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Shrockstar Shaun, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Buckeye fans of all ages, the Ohio Podcast proudly brings to you the Buckeye Lounge. I'm your host of Shrockstar, Shaun Shrock. With me, as always, the Wolverine Slayer herself, Miss TG. And tonight, our special guest, our returning guest, former Buckeye great, former NFL great, Mr. EJ Underwood. EJ, welcome back, brother.
Hey, thanks for you guys having me back again. I'm excited about this.
Some of you don't know this. Over on the Patreon channel, EJ is now locked in, and he is going to be on the message boards. So if you guys want to, chop it up with EJ on the message boards, EJ is now a proud member, and he's going to come over there and chop it up and interact with some of the fans.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the interaction with you guys.
We're glad to have you, man. I mean, imagine that, guys. You get to hang out with a former great Buckeye, talk some ball with them. Nothing better than that, man. It's like what we do. So it's awesome, man. We're proud to have you come aboard, EJ.
Thank you.
Oh, you see the little shot that Mika kind of took it.
That's funny.
Hey, but I did hear he is looking to enter the portal, by the way. I did hear that.
So, here's all I can say, because, like, anybody close to me, they know that, like, my cousin is Bryce Underwood up at Michigan. But, I noticed from the very beginning that he didn't have a good OC behind him. And when you have somebody that has Bryce's talent, you need to get somebody in there who knows how to work with that and develop him at a high level, So I did see, like, big strides during the season, but I also seen a lot of misplays out there too, and I'm always going to cheer for him because he's family, but I can't even lie. I am so happy that we won that game, because there was no way that I was going 5 years to losing to Michigan. No, that was not happening. Like, so regardless, I'm still proud to be a Buckeye, always Buckeye Nation, no doubt. But, I'm just glad we won that game.
And they didn't hire a quarterback coach for him either. How
they did not.
Is that?
No, they did not.
Oh, but they're not known for developing quarterbacks. We all know this. And Jacquard, I know you're pretty much. Here's my thing. It depends on what he does. Because, like I said, he's either going to do what Tom Herman did on our national title run, where he got hired by the Houston Cougars before the national championship run we went on in 2014, and he still coached here at Ohio State, fully focused, and just went on a run to help us win a natty. Or he's either going to do Lane Kiffin, he should just up and leave and just stay in South Florida. It's one of the two. So, I don't know.
The thing is with Lane Kiffin, he wanted to stay, but Ole Miss said, nah, you got to go. And
again, it was probably the smarter move, because it allowed them to stay focused, because Lane Kiffin was going to have to do a job at LSU anyway. So it's like that wouldn't have been smart.
I mean, guys, Heartline's going to be down there the whole week this week. And you know what makes me mad is we need him up here, because there's not one team we got to break down. We got to break down two teams, because we don't know who we're going to play. No. So, I mean, you got to be fully engaged. You got to be 100% in. If I'm Ryan Day, I just say, listen, man, we appreciate everything you've done. Thank you for your service. We love you. But do what's right for the team, man. If you can't be here 100%, then go down there and start coaching your team then.
No, absolutely. I think yeah, I've had mixed feelings about this. I remember when my brother Brandon was on the Cincinnati team that made it to his first BCS game against Virginia Tech. Brian Kelly was his coach. And like, that was my first time being up close and personal at all the UC games and stuff. So I got to see how that team was. And I'm telling you right now, it made a tremendous difference because he had took that Notre Dame job. And I truly believe if he was able to coach them in that bowl game, that Cincinnati was going to win that game. Because to me, they was far more talented than Virginia Tech at that time. But you could tell when Brian Kelly not calling those plays, it just affected the team on the offensive side big time. So, no, and even with the Lane Kiffin situation, like that sucks because you get an Ole Miss program into the pinnacle now, getting ready to compete for a national championship, but yet you take the deal with LSU. So I can understand both sides why the AD was like, no, you got to get out of here now because you're in the same conference, and like since you like built this program, hey, thank you, but you got to go because we don't want you poaching any players or coaches while you have another month just to prepare for these playoff games and stuff like that because that stuff goes on. So yeah, it's a catch 22 on those.
And let's not forget the NCAA really screwed this all up by having the calendar the way it is, man. They should have it after
In the
the year is
spring.
over, to have the portal after the year is over when coaches can switch jobs, and signing day should stay in February like it was. I mean, when they moved that early signing day up, it kind of screwed everything up.
It did, and I said it before. Like they should, like we had two spring portals, and we all agreed there should be one, and the one we all agreed was the spring portal. Instead, you kept it in the winter, which was completely stupid. I don't know why. I don't get these people. Like, why? Who is in charge of y'all? Y'all make some of the stupidest decisions there is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I totally agree with that. I think they should have moved it back. It's too close to all bowl games and stuff like that. You're not even getting it. Like you're getting in the universities and the players like all this anxiety because now they got to rush to start picking players. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Kids got to
Yes.
start picking coaches and university they want to attend to. So no, they should have definitely pushed it back a little bit. Just to get everybody a little bit of breathing room, but have it on a more controllable thing for them.
Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
these coaches, I mean, teams like Ohio State, it's a big disadvantage because these guys are trying to prepare for championship games. They're trying to prepare for playoffs. Then you got to worry about trying to sign these kids. Then you got to worry about a portal, and you don't even know who's going to be. I mean, you don't even know who's going to be here or who's not going to be here. And
You
it's
really
just,
don't.
I mean, it's just one big headache for these guys, and I mean, that just screws people up. I think it should be wait till the season's over, keep signing day the way it used to be. I mean, there's still one signing day in February. I mean, that's the later signing day, but they had an early signing day in December. Get rid of that early signing day in December.
Let me
If
tell
you're
you
gonna,
something. If you're gonna do an early signing day, at least do it before like the playoffs even start.
or do it before the season. Have them early signing day in August. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, have it be that.
I thought my signing day was like in February for some reason. So
That's the way it used to be. It used to be February. I mean, they still have it in February, but
They still have it in February, but now they have a second one, but it's
They
like
have-
right before the
that's
playoffs.
nonsense right there.
they have an early signing day. Yeah, so I mean, barely anybody waits now to sign in February anymore. So I mean,
Oh yeah,
it just
and
screwed everything up.
yeah, and real quick, EJ,
Yes.
Mika does want to know how is height and importance at the position of DB. Your height.
I think so, absolutely, because there's nothing like a taller DB because you're gonna have your 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" wide receivers and tight ends, and if you are able to like have some good height, me and my brother, like I'm 6'2", he's 6'3", and that's just great height as a DB. I'm not saying that you can't play it as a smaller guy, but a lot of times like you got to think about the OCs. the OCs are looking for matchups. So they see a 5'10" guy DB on a 6'2", 6'4" guy. They're doing this. That means tap the fade, throw it up. So our guy could jump and go get it. So, but no, I think at that position, if you are tall, it will definitely work into your advantage.
There are a couple of times I will say this, in the Indiana game, they did leave JJ one-on-one a couple of times. I'm like, if you see that, just throw it to him, because like their DBs are like 5'9", and I think the tallest guy is like 5'10". So it's like with Carnell and them, if they leave them one-on-one ever, just throw the ball up, they'll catch it.
No, for sure. The one guy, number 5, I do believe he was JJ's, Joel Jeremiah's teammate. So, I know right there, those guys been going at it for years. So they both know each other game. And ironically, that could become like a problem, because it's like, man, this ain't the same guy who knows me, but you got somebody who's familiar to your stuff. They could play you differently than anybody else. But, you just got to give credit to the whole Indiana team, because honestly, what they showed me throughout the whole season, that they have a good team. And like last year, it looked like they were just excited to be there, and sometimes when you are a new program and you get to that place, you don't know how to react. This year, they act like they belong there, so they knew what to expect. Nothing was like getting too rattled. Even all their seasons, during the seasons, like they had so many games that they were challenged in, where they had to like really come back. And for this game, for us, this was our first real challenge of the season. And and I was telling one of my friends, I was like, hey, yes, I definitely want us to win the national champion. I mean, win the Big Ten championship, right? But I'm not mad that we lost right now, because that loss is going to teach us, like, okay, we know this feeling. We know how we played against those guys. So when this happens again, like we get into these positions again, we know how to react and we can overcome it. So that's what I'm looking forward to the Buckeyes do, is bouncing back like that.
Here's the thing where I'm upset, EJ, is there was some stuff that was pointed out, and it's been pointed out all year long, but I think because we've won, some things have gotten masked over. So, I mean, since we got away with it for so long, It's like I talked to a former DB of Ohio State, and this guy pointed it out to me. He goes, one thing I'm really worried about, this guy played safety on the 06 team. I mean, the 96 team. He goes, one thing that worries me, Shaun, he goes, is our DBs, when someone throws it deep down the field, they have a problem turning their head and they grab. He goes, we haven't faced a quarterback that has continuously challenged us. He goes, I think if we run into a good team that has a good quarterback, it's going to throw the ball down the field, that could present a lot of problems. And we saw that come back to bite us, where they could not locate the ball and not get the head around. And Matthews got burnt twice, and Sanchez got burnt once on it.
Yeah, no, he's right. Watching, I had to watch again earlier today before I worked out. Watched the highlights of the game, and once Mendoza threw that ball to get the first touchdown, you could tell, like, first of all, as a DB, he didn't get a good jam on the receiver, and then the receiver got on top of him. So right now he's already beat. So Mendoza did a great job by placing the ball where his receiver was going to get it, and that was 6. And then on that big play by the tight end, even after the game, when he was getting interviewed, Mendoza, he was saying how they do that stuff they've been doing that stuff before practice all year, and he felt so great to manifest it in the game of that same type of situation. But once again, the DB didn't get a good job of getting his hands on the receiver. So as a DB, if you don't jam and you're in man-to-man coverage and you allow your a free release for the receiver, you're already beat, unless you have that make-up speed to like go cut them off right now. And that did not happen. So when he got behind him, it becomes a panic, all right? So now he knows all he knows all his techniques, but when you panicking because you did not get that good jam off the line for the receiver, you become in panic mode. And dude made a great play. Once again, Mendoza threw a great ball, so those are big time throws by him.
I will say that does tell you something about Tim Long because it's like, Tim, what are you teaching these guys that this keeps being a problem? So hopefully by going back and watching that with Jermaine Matthews, because funny enough with David Minoson, we were all worried he might do that, and then he didn't do it. Like he was actually not getting beat, and he didn't get no penalties. That's what's so shocking. The guy you expect to do it the most is the guy that didn't do it. Jermaine Matthews and David Sanchez, it's like with you two, I don't get what you're doing.
Well, you kind of wish he would have acted like IBG in those circumstances, because when that happens to Iggy, he grabs, so the guy's not going to catch the ball. I mean, that them guys grab like that. Yeah, it's a penalty, but
no, like we did like see one holding penalty against
Yeah.
Lorenzo. That was at least one, even though he did try to turn his head around, but he didn't do it in time at least.
Well, I think too, as a DB, if you're not tested like that all year, you know what I mean? Like, because I've been watching like the DBs close because I have to watch them,
Sure.
and he hasn't been getting tested like that. So sometimes, and that's not a bad thing either. You know, that to me, when I was playing, I wasn't getting tested like that. But you can't get lackadaisical, and and I felt like those two plays exactly. He didn't think the ball was even coming his way. He's nah, because I'm just watching body language and how he was doing all his stuff, and as a DB you can't think like that. You have to think, oh no, they're coming my way all the time, because the moment that you like get lax like that, then they make plays, and that's what happened.
I think one of the bigger reasons too is like, who's been the toughest challenge that every Ohio State DB says they go up against is the guys you go up against in practice every day. And they're so used to that. It's like they don't believe any one of these receivers out here is going to go toe-to-toe with them. But you have to realize, and this is the one thing the players, and I think the coaches really do need to beat this into these players' head. Like, it should not take all this for you to get. You're Ohio State. You're going to get tested no matter what. People want to beat you. Like, I think that should be something that has already been in these guys' heads. Like, Iggy, like I said, Iggy didn't even get beat at all today. Like, that game, he didn't get beat once. Like, Lorenzo got beat at least once, but that was it. Devin Sanchez got beat once. Jermaine, that happened twice, and I'm like, guys, y'all should know better at this point.
Think about it, though. Last year, he led the team in PIs, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, he did. That's the point.
He understood that that's not happening this year. Yeah. So that shows me, and like, he works on his craft and he knows what to do. So you can win with that type of person, right? Tremendous difference from this year to last year. I applaud that young man, because you want to play aggressive at all times, but you don't want to give up penalties too. Because
but not to mention when he first came here, he wasn't doing that at first. He wasn't doing that at first when he first got here, and then the second year he started getting all these PIs and being grabbing, and we find out it's because of his mechanics. And then Ohio State's making him work on it 24/7. Like, dude, your footwork kind of wrong. Like, you're getting beat on some of your footwork. You need to work on this, and you also need to work on not grabbing. So they made him put like oven mitts on and then boxing gloves, and then you see it this year. He's like, nah, not that many. Like, he may got at least 3 holding penalties this year at the utmost, and one of them was the most bogus one. I know for a fact. One of them was bogus. So it's like, I don't even count that against them. So it's like, hey, at least you turn down the hands grip. At least you turn that down, and at least you ain't getting beat either.
No, for real. It's at the end of the day, it's all about technique as a corner. We know what we need to do. Like, within those first 5 yards, it's certain progressive stages you get to. Like 10 yards, you get to it. So you just have to understand. And the trick is to stay calm at all times, because once your mind panics, that's when bad stuff happens, right? So there's been plenty of times that if I miss a guy, I didn't panic because I know I had the speed to not let him run past me, so I can make up for that, and you just gotta just trust in your abilities for sure.
I think that's what was Iggy's problem last year, is he would panic.
Yeah, that was his problem.
I mean,
that was his problem, and I think that's the same thing with the Ohio State DBs. But when I say this to the Ohio State DBs, you have the speed to keep up with these guys, so don't panic. Yes. And that's something that y'all should know. You got the speed, don't panic, because if you panic, then your bad stuff is what starts happening. Now, the good thing is, there are a couple times Mendoza did throw I would say this, Ohio State did handle the deep ball of Mendoza better in this game than people realize, though, because it only happened, to see here. Lorenzo, Iggy, that not Iggy, Devin that one time, even though I will notice he has had that problem this at least towards the back end of the year. And then Jermaine at least twice. So it only happened like 4 times, which is good. So at least it shows that the defensive backs really didn't give up that many deep balls for how many Mendoza threw. At least it shows they weren't giving up that many, which is good.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think looking at his number, he went 15 and 23 for 222. Man, there's nothing because I'm a defensive player. I can't even lie to you guys. I was so excited about watching this game, right? Because on both sides of the ball, like that reminded me of the old school defense when I'm accustomed to seeing, and I'm so happy that we're on opposite ends of the bracket because we could see this as a potential national
rematch.
Rematch in the national championship game. I'm looking at their path. I'm like, man, Indiana got a nice path to get there, and I'm looking at our path, and I'm like, okay, we could do the same thing. So, like I said, I think this was a good wake up call for us, like, because we rather it happen now than have it in the playoffs. Because that was a sicker feeling,
what's also true is that, as Mika did mention it here, and I am going to ask this question, she did say, like, Iggy does just love being physical. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, brother, I think he does love being physical, maybe a little too much. Which you got to love that, though. You love physically some dudes, which I like that about him. So, and I want him to keep that, but have restraint to not get penalties, which is good. She does ask, what type of receiver is the hardest to guard?
Oh, man. Well, okay, so I'm a taller guy, so any taller guys taller and above me was awesome. Now the smaller guys could be a little bit tricky because they're so shifty, and a lot of times, like it just depends. Like when I was at Ohio State, Bam Childress, I still remember like it was yesterday guarding him as a freshman. Bam is like probably like 5'9", 5'8". But he's so shifty off the line. So trying to get your hands up and jamming him, that was tough. But then, I'm a student of the game. So after being around him for a little bit, you start to understand tendencies and stuff like that when it comes to players. So I was always very good at picking up all our players' tendencies and what they like to do and just try to cause havoc for them.
Brian Oberst has a question for you. He said, how do you teach get the head turned around like that, or is it something that needs to be learned?
Oh no, you work on that in practice. So once again, that's just about having a good DB coach, right? I was very fortunate. Me and my brothers, we grew up with our dad, and he was coached under Dick Night Train Lane, and yes. So since like we were young, I'm talking about 4 or 5, like. Teaching us how to do all this type of stuff, but then it just becomes into progressions. There's like I mentioned, once you jam a person, now if you're jamming them to the outside, there's normally you get to like a certain amount of yardage before you can start turning your head back around, right? But it's a progression you got to go through. Well, looking at the receiver, looking at like if their hips are about to drop, then you drop. It's just all about that. But a simple technique that somebody could work on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Now, did you like to play bump and run? Did you like to play the press, or were you more like a zone, or did you like zone better?
I was great at both, so it did not matter. And a lot of times you didn't get a lot of guys who were good at both like I was. That's nothing for me because that's like playing basketball. So I'm gonna stick on you like glue. Sure. So that's just like I was somebody's shadow when I played man to man, literally. But like nowadays, like that's why it's so hard when you hear some of these DBs in the NFL talking about how great they were. Some of them were great in systems, absolutely. And I'm not gonna give anybody's name out there like that. I'm not gonna knock on what they did in the system. But if you take them out of that certain system and you put them in another one where they're not doing zone coverage and they got to cover man to man, or vice versa, so people are going to get exposed, and it just comes with the territory. So I think that's a good thing as a defensive coordinator because you know what your guys can and cannot do. So when you know what you could do, And can't do. You're gonna win. We're gonna win a lot of games.
Well, I mean, that's a smart thing to do. If I know I got a corner that can't play man to man, I'm putting them in zone. I mean,
Yes.
vice
Yeah.
versa.
Now, here's the thing, and I will give this because we've had this guy in the chat for a while. Indiana fan or Scum fan, I don't know which one. But he is right. Yes, you did. Your defense outplayed our offense. Like, your defense handled our offense. But also be realistic with yourself here. The offense wasn't fully focused on you. Because we talked about it. Like, Shaun, you've heard me say it repeated times that one of the strengths of this Ohio State team was against the blitz.
Good.
And for
Right.
some reason, they were not taking advantage of it as much as they should have.
I mean,
And let me hold on. We know for a fact that they were not focused on this Indiana game. Now, if you give Ohio State a chance to focus on Indiana fully, like this offense in particular, they would know how to pick apart this Indiana defense. And you know what's really funny too for this Indiana defense? You did leave guys open. You're just lucky the quarterback couldn't see them. Because Brandon Ennis got open a lot of times, honestly. Carnell Tate got open sometimes. Jeremiah Smith got opened a lot, actually. He just was not seeing them for whatever the reason. I don't know what Julian was doing. I don't know if it's because he was afraid of something because of how often Tegra kept letting him get hit. Because I'm not going to say it's the whole offensive line. Like I said, I know for a fact Phillip Daniels, he got beat twice. The rest of our offensive line only got beat like once. It was always coming from the right side and mainly at the guard position, which is why I'm going to say this to Ryan Day and mainly Ohio State. Take Tegra out. I don't care. Like, I've given Tegra chances, and look, even last year, he actually played well in the playoffs. But I can't defend you when you play this bad, dude. You when you play this bad, you gotta sit. Like, you can't tell me that you played this bad against this defensive line. You can't. And then when we take you out, we put in Gabe Van Sickle. If we put in Ethan Oniyawa, I think our offensive line would look a whole much better. Like, I don't know why it took Ohio State a whole freaking almost the whole third quarter to take him out of the game. I don't get this with them. I'm like, but then it's like for Ryan Day, I'm like, you probably wanted to lose this game so you can see what you need to work on. Because I think even you know that this team probably has some stuff to work on. And because you weren't focused on Indiana this entire week, you probably needed this loss just for you to see what is wrong with my team. What you like Mika Montgomery is on the left side. So if we were gonna start somebody, it would have to be Ethan Padilla, which I don't know what happened to him, or Ethan or Gabe Van Sickle. Like, we're gonna have to start one of those three.
Padilla's been hurt. Padilla's been hurt. First thing I want to do, Jack.
Oh, he's still hurt? Dang.
One thing I want to do is I want to tip my hat to Kirk Cignetti and to that Indiana defensive line, because you know what? Not just on the pass protection, but in the run, you guys kicked our offensive line's butt. We could not get any push. And I tell you what, this is what makes me mad is all year long, we've had the same issues with Tegra. And it got masked over because we kept winning. Mm-hmm. And nothing got changed. You knew this guy's been a problem. And look,
I mean, we saw in the Michigan game, he actually got some push on them. We were like, okay, finally.
But, I mean, if you look back, guys, what have we had issues with this year? Red zone scoring when we get down close to the goal line. Had trouble running the ball.
No, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to blame play calling on that one every
guys,
day.
That's just not – this just hasn't been a this year thing, man. If you go back and look under Ryan Day's tenure here, look at that Clemson playoff game. We should have been up 28-0 on those guys, and we had to settle for field goals. Yeah, the referee screwed us in the second half.
I will say this, though, because I think we would have been better in the red zone had Justin Fields not suffered a knee injury, because he made us better in the red zone throughout the season because Fields' running ability, but because he got his knee messed up, it made it much harder. And then J.K. Dobbins gets injured in the game, too, so, like, that really sucked.
But, I mean, it's just, and it's just like the play calling. I mean, this is what makes me upset with Brian Hartline is you don't have any imagination and you don't set anything up. I mean, with Chip Kelly, he's setting stuff. He's thinking 8 plays ahead, man. He's setting stuff up all game long to run a counter off something. There's no counters. There was no reverses. No swing.
I mean, like, the thinking is because it's been working all year, why would we stop doing it? But then it's like you also have to realize that that's not always going to work. Like, people are going to figure that out sooner or later. And it's like, the thing is with Chip Kelly, like, why were we so good in the red zone last year? Because we had a dual threat quarterback in Will Howard and an imaginative play caller in Chip Kelly who knew how to use a guy like that. And look, if you don't want to put Sayin, if you don't want to use him in the red zone, Put in Lincoln Keyholes. He's
Okay.
bigger, he's stronger, but also he gives you both the pass and the run threat. Because it makes defenses have to think more. Because with Lincoln Keyholes, his passing has gotten better. He's more accurate now. Are there times he can throw behind the receiver? At times, that happens. But we've seen Julian underthrow the ball a couple of times as well. Like that pass he threw to Jeremiah Smith, if he let it further, Smith would have had a touchdown. Instead, he underthrew it, and Smith had to slow down just to get it. So, at the end of the day, when you come down to it in the red zone, if you don't want to use Sand in a dual threat way, put in Lincoln Keyholes. We've been hearing you, like, we've seen you use him a couple of times in some of these games. Why are you not using him more? Use him in the red zone so this way you have two options. You have two options in the red zone. You can run or you can pass. When you have that dual threat ability, defenses have to think more. You saw Will Howard last year. What did teams have to worry about? His legs. Even if we didn't run him a lot, you knew he could take off and run if you gave him the opportunity.
Well, when you take your best two players off the field with Tate and Jeremiah Smith, and they come off the field, what do you think the defense thinks is coming?
Run.
It's pretty obvious. Exactly. You don't even give the chance of a throw. Then they run the same pass play out of that, where they roll Julian out and they have the backside tight end drag and Bo flare out. I mean, they had it covered. I mean, guys, if it was third down and goal with 1 yard to go, third down, run the quarterback sneak. If he only gets half a yard, run it again and get behind him and shove him in the freaking end zone, man. I mean,
yeah, here's my thing.
Push.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like y'all could have done and look, we did use the tush push with Sam before, and it actually worked, which I was surprised that it did. But if you have to, just use it with Lincoln. If you don't want to do that with Sam, because he's bigger, he's stronger, and again, he gives you that dual threat ability. And keep both Tate and Jeremiah Smith on the field. Keep them both on the field. Make people have to think twice. And guess what? The other thing that really ticked me off was them plays where they had only a one receiver route, which was so stupid. I'm like, okay, it really shows me y'all were not focused. Like, it really does tell me this one thing about the offense. You really was not focused. So, like I said, they're going to have to figure out what they want to do, because if Hartline is going to stay in Tampa for I think Vader said it was going to be 7 to 10 days. He needs to stay down there in Tampa, because if he can't be focused on this playoff run, he's got to stay down there. He's got to stay down there.
No, go ahead.
Like, either you're going to do what Tom Herman did and you're going to put South Florida on the back burner and tell them, listen here, my 100% of my focus is on Ohio State, not the head coaching role right now, because I got to worry about making a playoff run. Like, that's what Tom Herman did. He accepted the Houston Kruger job before the playoffs, but he still made it a point that he was going to coach Ohio State and keep his attention on the Natty run. He was going to keep that there.
I think and I totally understand. I totally agree with what you're saying. I think it needs to become a rule then that the NCAA needs to go ahead and decide that. Either the coaches, if you accept a job, either you stay or you go. You know what I mean? It can't be nowhere in between, you know?
Yeah, no 50-50, because it's not going to work. Because I was thinking he was fully focused on this game. Yeah. I was thinking he was fully focused. I think he was going to do the Tom Herman. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, nah, that's, like I said, it's going to come down to either you're going to do a Lane Kiffin did or you need to up and leave. Yeah. And I'm not trying to kick Brian Hartline out, like, before people start going off. Yeah. Like, no, we really do want him, but he's got to do what's best for the team. What is best for the team? Either you can't stay 100% focused, so the best thing you need to do is pull away from the team, because you're only going to hurt the team the longer you stay.
Well, guys, granted, though, it was different when Tom Herman did it, though, because National Signing Day wasn't until February when he took it. So
I mean, yeah, that's true, but still, it's like you still would have had to have focused on the team regardless.
Well, I mean,
but the National Signing Day was different. I will give you that. The National Signing Day was different, but he still, even if it was, you still would have to make a choice between staying or going, because you are going to have to build up that Houston Cougars program regardless. So it's going to be one of the two. And this is and that's where I will give Brian Hartline, where you got to worry about National Signing Day for South Florida. I understand that part. But you need to tell the South Florida people, listen, you need to bring them in and let them know that I will be coming. It's just that right now, I'm focused on winning the Natty right now. It's either that or just stay.
Well, this is where the
Oh god.
NCAA needs to stand up and do the right thing and move the signing day back to where it was.
And if
So
they're
it
ever
doesn't
even
screw
gonna
the
do
people,
that.
so it doesn't screw coaches over like this or screw teams over like that because
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Either you do it before the season, you know, like for real, because I committed before the season because I felt like at that time that was like the best choice for me.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I did have school still like during the whole season, like give me official visits. Like I was supposed to go to Florida State, I was supposed to go to Virginia, you know, but I was committed, you know what I'm saying, to the Buckeyes, and I was like, it was a part of me is like, nah, I just didn't feel right about doing that because once I commit to something, that's just what it is. So no, they need to definitely make it early signing day before the season, so everybody understands where you are, and you don't have any distractions. And I was so
Mm-hmm.
thankful that I didn't have any distractions like that. So and because I really felt like my senior year me by not having any distractions, I play free and loose football and to the best of my ability. So I
Yeah.
want to go back and change that at all.
there's some kids I get it because some kids don't get their offer till after their senior year. But
Yeah,
you could do one signing day before the season starts for all those kids, so they can sign. Then do it in February when the season's over, all the bowl games are over, and there doesn't run into anything, and that way coaches can concentrate. I mean, because it's not fair to all the playoff teams. You're trying to sign kids. If a coach leaves, he's trying to sign and trying to do double duty, and it's not going to work. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I know Ryan Day didn't want to look like a jerk or try to push Brian Hartline out the door because he's done a lot for the team, and Hartline didn't want to look like he was just abandoning the team. But
well,
guys, you got to do what's best for the program.
well, yeah,
And you know what's super funny too though, because the one thing I will give Brian Hartline credit is he told all the recruits that he recruited for Ohio State at wide receiver to say stay at Ohio State. It'll be the best option for you to stay here. They will hire somebody to replace me, and the legacy of the Ohio State wide receivers will continue. You got to give Brian credit for that. And we did hear, as Eric brought up, a rumor about how they might be trying to use USF as a way for development. Like, there's going to be a whole connection between USF and Ohio State where Ohio State will send players that they know aren't ready to play down to USF to get developed for them to come, so that way they can come back to Ohio State and they can actually play instead of wasting their time on the bench. And Brian Hartline could continue recruiting for Ohio State, telling them, "Hey, you too good to stay here. Go to Ohio State." Like it's some that Brian. It's some that no, I'm not. I'm saying EJ. I'm saying that this is a rumor that was heard. It's like some
yeah.
little like USF will be like a little minor league
No,
for Ohio State.
I gotta respectfully shut that rumor down because no, that's just
Now that's just a rumor that we don't believe it, but it's like, but I could see that where like Ohio State, like, because I do believe Brian Hartline would continue to try to do something.
Well, you got okay. I can say so. Marcus Freeman, he was a Buckeye. You know what I mean? So we can say the same thing about him at Notre Dame. But I think once you get to a head coaching job, and I know Brian probably has a lot of like pressure on him right now because you just became a head coach somewhere. Now you got to tell recruits that you were recruiting for. That was coming to Ohio State that you're going because even Chris Henry Jr. Like he didn't sign right away. He was like, "Oh man, my coach is not going to be here," and like that, and that makes a big time difference. Like I remember when I was getting recruited by different coaches, like if they wasn't going to be there, like I wasn't going to even think about going. Yeah. So you build those relationships with these kids and that trust. And trust is big in this in this day and age with all the NILs and all this this transfer portal stuff because there's really no loyalty and trust anymore.
What's super funny is like the whole thing was Brian Hartline, like it was told that Ryan Day told him because his goal is to be the Ohio State head coach someday. That's his goal, is to someday be the head coach. Ryan Day told him, if you're gonna take the head coaching job, go ahead and do it. Just go ahead. I'm not mad at you. It's an opportunity that was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen at some point. Brian Hartline was going to get the head coaching job. Did we expect it to be this soon? No. But if that's what is best, if you want that opportunity, go ahead and do it. Because the other thing is, too, like people tend to forget, when we talked about how Brian Hartline said he ain't ready for that position yet, we all thought, we didn't think he was talking about like just like, we thought we should talk about head coaching, period. But I think he was talking about at the level of head coaching, because I think he knew he ain't good enough to coach at the Power 4. So if you're going to take a head coaching job, let it be in the G5 and let it be at a school that gives you the resources, because South Florida is that will give him the resources and the ability to learn on the job, make mistakes without being under a microscope. Because what happened to Ryan Day when he took over as the first time head coach here at Ohio State? Every last one of his mistakes was under a microscope. And Brian Hartline does not want that.
But he also like walked into a beautiful situation that not many people ever get to walk into, and that was Urban's big guy.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different type of situation, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cincinnati is how I look at USF, because remember back when Luke Fickell took a head coaching job at Cincinnati, and we saw how well he did there, and we saw how he was growing as a head coach. And I think had he stayed there, I think he would have been better as a head coach. I think he had a lot more to learn, and had he just stayed there, he would have continued to grow and become a better head coach than what he's doing now. Because when we look at him, we don't look at him as a replacement for like a Ryan Day. He's more of a replacement for someone like a Larry Johnson, like a Matt Patricia if he was to go back to the NFL, like a James Laurinaitis if he was to go take a DC coaching job. Since his goal is to be a defensive coordinator for Ohio State someday, he could leave and take a DC job, and we could need another linebacker coach. Luke Fickell's the perfect replacement, but head coach, heck to the no. Brian does not want that stale on him as far as like being that guy where it's say you want to be the head coach here. Got to prove you can do that. And I think that him going to USF would give him the opportunity to just like kind of like Cincinnati did for Luke Fickell and countless other coaches. It'll give him that same, like, I mean, think about Alex Golish, Ohio State graduate. Like, he went to USF, worked a miracle there. Like, he actually did really well at USF. And then look at what it got him. It got him a Power 4 head coaching job at Auburn. Now, we'll see if he even succeeds at Auburn. But that's what we're talking about, is that's what Cincinnati used to do for coaches like Fickell and coaches before him. But that's what USF is now doing as well. So I think that's what it really is. And again, for Brian Hartline, I think it would be best for you to just focus on USF and allow Ryan Day and them to find your replacement. That's what would be my thing.
No, yeah, I totally agree. But I could take it a little bit further than that. So back, Coach Mark D'Antonio, that was my defensive coordinator for 2 years. He took the Cincinnati job, and that's right before my brother ended up going down there. But he started to build Cincinnati up, and then once he leaves, Brian Kelly comes in, right? But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because once Brian leaves, Fickell goes there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, it's all about like who you are with. You know, Coach Fickell and Coach D'Antonio, those are my defensive coordinators. I mean, so you see, like. You learn from great people you're in the building with. And that's all Brian's been doing. He's been learning from Chip Kelly, Ryan Day. There was somebody else there who I'm missing, another OC that was there. I can't remember. But you get the chance to sit there and learn from these guys, right? And that's why I'm not even going to get on Brian about the play calling, because honestly, we've been dominating all year. So, like, and how I look at it, it's like, okay, man, we still got some stuff in the bag, you know, that we ain't pulled out yet, you know, and
Yeah, that
we
one
can
thing.
pull it out right now because we can win like this because we're that much dominant and we're that much better. But what happened was we came across a dominant defense as well. So, you know, when you got that, like, and even then, like, I still like how we didn't show too much because the understanding is, okay, you got us right now. You think you might got us, but wait till we play you again. We're going to go in that and we're going to pull stuff that you ain't never seen before.
If you really think about it too, it's like for Ohio State, like I said, they left a lot of points on the board because there were times that you had guys wide open and Julian just wasn't seeing them. So when we say like a dominant defense, like yeah, Indiana's a great defense, but there are holes you can exploit that we said they should have exploited. And they could have had, and like I said, you had guys wide open in that secondary because Indiana's, you know, we talk about our defensive backs possibly getting beat deep at times. That was Indiana's problem all year. Like when they went up against elite receivers, good to great to elite receivers, they struggled to go up against them, especially if their team blitzed. So when you saw that, it's like for Ohio State, see, that's where you got it right there. you got the elite receivers to go toe to toe with their secondary. Their secondary is the weakest link of their defense if they go up against receivers like ours. And we saw that a couple times. It's just, again, Sayan didn't see him.
Problem
And
was Shane was fooled a lot. And you know what? We got to realize this is his first year starting. I know he's done awesome this year, guys, and he's played like a second year, third year quarterback. But there was stuff that kid was so fooled by. And the good thing is he's going to learn from this because that's the first time he saw some of that stuff, and it fooled him.
And not only that, but it's like I also think too that for saying it is a learning experience because it's like, dude, you have been great at picking apart defenses. You have made great decisions, but this is the first time you're actually going up against a defense that could confuse you, other than the one you're going up against practice every day. But other than them, this is the first time. So if this is your first time seeing all this, the next time you play Indiana, and look, in the second half, he was really starting to figure them out. It's just that we kept making a bunch of again, the offensive line, because I'm going to say this. I don't care what the play calling is. If your quarterback and your offensive line are not executing properly, I don't care what the play calling is. It does not matter if they're not executing.
Well, the thing is they weren't giving him they weren't helping him out. I mean, they're blitzing us almost every play.
But that's the thing, though. That's what Ohio State should have seen coming. But what did we say? They weren't focused on Indiana on the offensive side. At least the offense wasn't focused on their defense.
I'm talking about during the game. You see them blitzing all the time, and you know your offensive line's not holding up the first half. Start calling some screens. Start calling some
right. That's the other thing.
No, stop doing the 7-step drops, the long pass plays that take a while to develop. Get the ball out of his hands quick. I mean, he's sitting
that's
back
the other thing.
Almost a sitting duck and hit. First of all, if he wasn't fooled back there, he had pressure in his face the whole time. He was running for his life. So, I mean, they did not do any screens. They didn't do any misdirections. The creativity was not that good, guys. And you know what?
Yeah, it definitely.
Not everybody's gonna have a great game calling plays, and I get it. This is Heartline's first time calling it,
and he was calling great plays for majority of the season. Again, my only issue with him, as far as like play calling, was mostly in the red zone for most of the season. That was where most of my issues were. But this game, it was like, dude, get the ball out of Saints' hands quicker. Now, I will say that interception that Julian threw, that he threw to Brandon Ennis, you did have Carnell Tate open on the other side. So had you seen Carnell, you should have threw it to Carnell. Like, that's my one thing. And there wasn't anybody getting to him in that moment either. You had him open. You just didn't see him for whatever the reason.
So I gotta definitely give credit to Indiana's defensive coordinator because that dude, what he did was, because I just had to be in his mind right now what I would have done. I would have went to all Ohio State's closest games, forget all the blowouts, and see and break down what they really struggled in. And it looked like that's what he did. So when there's certain formations that he see, okay, they're running that, so we're going to run this to counter that. And he did a great job at calling a good defensive game. And yes, like I said, we haven't been down all year, or trailing. So we needed this. Once again, I watched the Indiana game when they were at Oregon. That was a heck of a comeback by Indiana. So they've been in those games before, and battle tested throughout the whole season, and it showed at the biggest point in the season in that Big Ten championship game. So they held their composure because they've been in those situations. Now we could learn from that and go forward because now we've been in that situation and we took the L. So we learn from it and we go and win these next 3 games to get to another back-to-back national championship.
And you know what's super funny is like our defense still held them to 13 points. Like we would think this would be the toughest offense, and it's like our defense handled them like they did everybody else. Now, while they did get a couple of great, Fernando had some great passes down deep. Like he had some pretty perfect passes, but for the most part, Ohio State was keeping the passing game in check. They were keeping him in check. Now, we know they got some run plays off. Like, the big gap defense is going to need a little bit of work. There are times they do struggle with that, but it's not, as bad. But they did manage to shut it down to a point where, nah, Indiana, you're not going to run on us. That's because that's what they did against Michigan. Because there were a couple of times they let some run plays happen because the B gap wasn't great. But then they were like, okay, we won't shut that down immediately because we can't keep having this. We can't. So I got to give Ohio State's defense a lot of credit for shutting down that Indiana defense. not Indiana offense, and you got to give Indiana credit for giving Ohio State's defense offense, I should say, a hard time. But I will say this for the offense: you had opportunities to pull away. You did. You just screwed the pooch. And look, give Indiana's defense credit on that one, but you also got to give Ohio State's coaching, like, y'all were not focused on this game at all because y'all was so worried. So
there was definitely times to put points on the board for sure. We left points off. We left.
Oh yeah,
a lot of points out there.
We left a lot of points out there.
Yeah.
And again, Ryan Day, when you go back to his press conference, he looked happy that they lost this game because he was like, "No, this actually gives us something we need to work on." Like, seriously, go back and watch the press conference after the fact. Ryan Day said, "This is exactly what we needed." He had that look on his face like, we needed this. Like, this loss was probably for the better because we had some issues that we needed to see for ourselves. So if we needed to see this, then look, it's probably better that it happened in the Big Ten title game where there are no consequences than happening it in a playoff game when there was.
Well, here's why I agree that it's better that it happened in the Big Ten championship game, but it's been happening all year with a lot of this stuff, and they were able to mask it because they were better than the other teams, and they could just steamroll them. And
we had a great in the league defense, and I think that's
something's got to. I mean, there were still a couple times that defense didn't get off the field when they needed to because they were on the field a lot of the game because our offense wasn't sustaining drives like they have been.
And think about it, when they did sustain drives. Not to mention, this BS right here. See, this will always get on my nerves. That phantom sack BS when Shaun didn't even go down. He gets that defensive back off him and manages to get away and throw the ball away. Instead, you give the defensive lineman the sack when Shaun never went down. I will never understand. I'm like, do y'all know what a sack looks like?
Well, they call them in the grasp. So, I mean, it's
no. That's the point, though. Do you know what that looks like? Because you're saying he's in the grass, but then when you watch the replay, he never was. So what was he in the grass? Where?
Man, it's crazy. The only thing I take away from the game, because I was talking to one of my best friends, her cousin. She got a couple cousins who play on the team, and they're key contributors. And the biggest thing I told her, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't doubt is that these guys were overlooking, like I said earlier, this game because it's Indiana. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now, even my time when I was at Buckeye, there's something about when you play Indiana, this is about to pass your stat game. So whatever stats you're looking to get, you about to get them against this
Even
team.
though they are the number 2 team, and I would not give Ohio State that benefit because I'm like, they're the number 2 team in the country, and you should not be. I don't care if they seem like they Indiana. If they rank number 2, you better take them.
But I'm just telling you though, like you have to understand like the mindset because like every time we play you, we smack you. You know what I mean? So how we looking at it, we see what you're doing over there, and we're watching the games, and we're watching it like, okay, man, we got these guys because we outmatch them. I think,
I think we do. I think we do.
But I'm telling you right now, there is something about when schools play the Buckeyes. No matter what, you are about to get the very best from those people.
That's something they already should know.
And I'm telling you right now, if I was one of the coaches on the staff, I would have been like, forget how we used to whoop them. You gotta understand they're trying to like take something from you right now. Don't underestimate these kids at all because these kids will come out here and play their hearts out, and you seen it on Saturday night what they did.
Well, that tends to be an Ohio State problem, if you ask me. That's a culture problem because it's like if you cannot tell these guys to stay focused when you know every team is finna beat you, something wrong.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's Indiana though. You know what I mean? It's something about Indiana. We
got beat by Purdue, who was worse than Indiana. So, like, if you couldn't take, come on, man.
Like, you gotta understand, like, once you're winning, how we've been winning all year. We just went on a whole tear since the Michigan game of last year, right? And then now
honestly, you should have learned from that because guess what? You lost to the worst Michigan team there was. Now, for granted, this is the rivalry, and we were so used to dominating them to a point where we felt so confident in beating them every year. But ever since the cheating scandal, which I will give the 3 years they won an asterisk, I don't care. But 2024 is like there was no excuse for you not to win that game. And we said it, they needed to lose that game. For Ohio State, I'm always gonna have this mindset where you shouldn't you should not always underestimate your opponents. You never should. I don't care how much we've been smacking them, because if there's anything the scum game taught us, regardless of the cheating scandal, and if the Purdue game, because Ryan Day, you were there in 2018 when Purdue beat us, like what was it, Shaun? Like 47 to like 20 or something like that. Like they smacked us up and down, and they were the worst Big Ten team. Like we've been smacking Purdue for years, even though they be giving us problems at times. We can admit that. Iowa too. But with Iowa, we could say at least they had great defenses. The problem is they just never had a good offense. And if they had a good offense, you definitely would have to take, like, you already take them seriously enough for their defense. If they have a great offense, you're not going to have a choice. But I don't care who is the bottom tier team at all. Like with Indiana or any bottom tier team, every team is going to play their best against you, because one thing that everybody in the media makes clear: beating Ohio State means you've arrived. It means something. Yeah. So y'all should already know this, that how everybody talks about your program. I don't care if they, like, how the media fundamentally ignores the fact that Ohio State's been the best team in the country. They're going to do that because they don't like you. Mm-hmm. Most of them anyway. Some will defend you and really will call that out. But despite that fact, the media will make it a point. We will make it a point, because it is true. You beat Ohio State, you've arrived. That's how they make it sound. And it's kind of true in a way. But that's why if you're Ohio State, I don't care who we're playing, you better be 100% your A game, because every team's going to try to beat you. Again, Ryan Day, you should learn from 2018. You should already know.
Yeah. Guys, then last year, we ran the score up on them. I mean, Will Howard's, crushed out the cigarette, and they were keeping receipts, and they were pissed off, and they were going to come at us and give us everything that they got. They've been talking so much smack, so they were running for us.
I think that's what they didn't do this time around, though, because I think they knew better, because it was like, okay, we talk smack to Ohio State, they don't smack us upside down. If we don't, but then here's what I will say to that Indiana tight end who did that OH as an insult. He's like, brother, y'all got smacked for doing that last time. Like, don't think because you beat us this one time and you beat us at all, because we play our worst and you barely escape by 3 and we leave a bunch of points on the board. The second you start disrespecting Ohio State, and this is going to be the truth for every team, Michigan already, look, they're our rival. They're going to disrespect us no matter what. And even though they shouldn't, it should be a rivalry based on respect, they're going to disrespect us no matter what. And we're going to want to kick their teeth in. But for every other team, if you ain't Michigan, or if you ain't nowhere like a Bama or Georgia or any of these type of teams, even though these two teams ain't nowhere near where they used to be, but if you're not a top tier program, if you're Indiana or any of these teams, you should not be talking no smack to Ohio State unless you want to get smacked upside the head.
Well, a lot of times, though, you got to understand, especially when you get those guys on other Big Ten teams, a lot of them come from Ohio. So when they play Ohio State, they can't wait to get anything off on us. And I know that from personal experience. So
Michigan State, back when they had D'Antonio.
Yeah, like a lot of different ones. Penn State, Purdue, you got the Iowas, Wisconsins. Man, they feel a certain type of way because they're not a Buckeye. So no matter what, they're going to play their best. And that's going to be their Super Bowl all day long.
Well, no, that's the purpose, though. Like, for Ohio State, that's why you should be focused, because you're everybody's Super Bowl. You are.
You know what? I totally understand where you're coming from, for real. But I really feel like this was a wake-up call that we needed.
It is.
Because, honestly, I don't want them to lose in the playoffs. You know what I mean? At all.
I don't either, but they should be focused 100% no matter what. Yeah. On the playoffs, you definitely should be focused. I don't care. Your main goal is a national championship.
No,
you should not be arrogant or lackadaisical because you're in the playoffs. Like, no, you better not act that way.
No, and even when Miami, Texas A&M, those are two great teams right there. Even though I think Texas A&M is probably going to pull it off because they're playing at home, but they have a nice explosive offense that I've been following too, and a pretty nice defense as well. So even when Miami got back down there, veteran quarterback, who knows how to put it on the mark with his receivers. So, either way.
Well, with Texas Tech, I think, their offense, I don't think that's going to be hard. As long as you keep Marcellus Reed in the pocket, you should be good, because that's what everybody showed you.
Well, we don't have to worry about that because they're on the other side of the bracket. That's an Indiana problem for real. So
No, Texas A&M. No, they're on our side.
oh yeah. Texas A&M for sure. Like yeah, the A&M man. Like I don't know. They didn't they lose to Alabama? Well, who did they lose to just like 2 weeks ago? It was somebody.
Texas.
Texas.
Yep, that's the
Yeah.
And they almost lost to South. They almost lost to South Carolina. If South Carolina didn't take their foot off the gas pedal, they would have beat them.
Yes, you like it's like man, oh man. You know what? I thought Texas A&M this was the year to just run Texas out the building, and you know I don't know what to say about Texas because they pulled off some wins that I didn't think they had. So you got to give them credit. But now the big talk is about people scheduling these non-conference games because if Texas didn't play Ohio State, they could have made a case that they could have gotten into the playoffs.
Well, actually, they did play Ohio State close, though.
Yeah.
If you don't lose to Florida, if you don't lose to suck-ass Florida,
yeah.
you get beat by them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean they got nothing to cry about because they lost to Florida, and there's no reason why Texas should have lost to Florida, man.
That's the thing. Like, they actually said it. Like, no, like, we could have came in here with just losses to Ohio State and Georgia. Like, those are their two best losses. Those are the two losses that would have let them get in. But because they lost to Florida, because even they had to own that. Their coach and their AD basically had to say it. Like, we weren't in here because we lost to Florida. Yeah. Like, we had a great loss. We only lost a close game, even though it really wasn't that close. But we lost a close game to Ohio State, and we only lost to Georgia, the two top 5 teams in all of college football. But 2 top 3 teams, I should say. So we lost to those 2 teams, and we did play good against Ohio State. Granted, it being early in the week, we still played great against them. That was the one loss. The one loss that screwed them was that Florida loss. That was the one loss. They don't lose that, they in.
But Texas though, like I've been watching them too, kind of closely. I mean, they should have had more losses than that though.
Yeah.
Like to be all the way honest, like even I can't remember. It was another in-school state Texas team, and they were like they had just barely tied it up at halftime, and you know, so it's the eye test as well because my eye test was telling me that Texas wasn't it at all, but
they did get better as the season went on, which I figured they would.
No, for sure. But I'm gonna take like I was listening to Cam Newton on his show, and he brought up a great idea. He said basketball, NCAA basketball had figured it out, right? They figured it out because they got the Big Ten and the ACC challenge. You know, I think we need to do that in football. We need to have a showcase with the Big Ten and the SEC, so that way, you know. If there are scenarios like this in the future, you could go back to those key matchup games and be like, okay, how did such and such play against? And that could determine with the eye test and letting somebody in the playoff or not.
Honestly, though, it's not going to happen again because I guarantee you Texas probably next year is probably going to drop that game off the schedule because they're not going to want to take a loss to Ohio State or a chance to have a loss. They're going to do what Indiana does and schedule the
well, here's my thing. I think what they need to do, in my opinion, because here's what I would say. If you don't want people, because here's the thing. With Alabama, let me see. Who was one of those teams that lost to Alabama? Because we all see what happened in Notre Dame, but that's because they're not in a conference, if we're being honest. And you lost.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, like, no, they can cry baby all they want. Like, you should have known the NCAA. Like, y'all are calling out the ACC. Yeah, y'all should have known they were going to try to back one of their teams. Like, y'all should have known that. Had y'all been in the Big Ten, and there are fans in Notre Dame trying to petition to get them in the Big Ten now because of that. But he's like, had y'all been in the Big Ten, no one would have cared. People would have kept you in over Miami.
Oh, yeah. If they'd been in the ACC, they would have been. ACC would have backed them over Miami, but you know.
Oh, yeah, no.
Honestly, I like to be honest. I feel like if you're an independent school, you shouldn't get into the playoffs.
You really shouldn't, in my opinion.
Like to me, like you're not putting in no skin in the game, right? You just
and then people try to act like as if it's a big deal that they're not playing in the freaking like in the bowl game, and you're like, and you're like, you think the NCAA cares they're not? Like, you got Ohio State, Bama, Georgia in the freaking playoffs. Like, you don't look at Notre Dame in the same light as them.
But here's the thing, though, right? Okay, so we didn't make the playoffs. But as a college player, you still want to go to a bowl game.
Right. You
like,
should.
And that's just simple as that. I don't care what bowl we playing because we know when we sign up for that bowl game, we gonna get some free gear, we gonna get some per diem money, and we gonna get a chance to go out and enjoy that area that we're in. So I
Right.
think that was a big injustice. For I heard the whole team voted to not play in the game, and if I was in that locker room, I would have been like, heck no, you know what I mean? We're gonna go play, you know, because that's just an experience that you want to do. And I just hope none of those kids regret it here in the future.
Oh, they might
That,
because
oh man, we should have played in a bowl game and da 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 da. So
oh no, they might because
Well,
like
how
and
about
one of the other things too is like you're pretty much missing out on a chance of development for a lot of your younger guys.
absolutely, absolutely.
Like that was just stupid.
Look at JSN. You know, look what he did when he was
Marvin?
like in the Rose Bowl game.
Yep.
he balled out, but then
And Stroud.
and then he
He's no
got
fun.
hurt though. You know what I'm saying? But if he did not ball out, that sophomore year, and you know, and get hurt, it's because everybody now he was on the map. They was like, oh my God, who is this kid? He's been sitting behind such and such, and then look what he's doing now in the NFL. He is probably he's my top three receiver in the NFL for sure. Like he does it all. Like he's a great route runner. He got good explosive and he's fast. So and he's smart. You know what I mean? So you got love to see what a bowl game did for his career. And
Well, how about the senior guys that aren't going to make the NFL and would they have one more game with their friends?
well,
You
that's
know, to go, you know,
That's the other thing too. Like you're screwing that
man,
up too.
you
yeah, that's
screw
what I'm
those
saying.
guys.
Because it's about that. Your family gets an opportunity to see you, you know what I'm saying, playing one more game or
Exactly.
whatnot. So it's just the whole bowl experience that when I heard about that, I was just like very disappointed because that's not how I would have handled it by no
I mean,
chance. I can't.
Spoiled brat, acting like spoiled brats. I'm gonna take my
right?
ball and go
They
home.
they still hold on to like their old glory days. It's like, guys, you're
Yeah.
not the same Notre Dame team you once were. Like, get out of your own
No,
way. You're
they-
not the end all be all. I'm sorry. Like, no one cares if you play in a bowl game or not. You don't matter.
They definitely need to join a conference. I think that stuff. I think this is probably going to push them to possibly join a conference because that's why Miami got it, right? And they're
Right.
representing the ACC. You know what I mean? And they, you know, like whether it's fair or not, you know what I mean? The head-to-head matchup.
It matters.
It
It matters. That's why
Yeah,
the
I
committee
mean-
I think wants to keep the head-to-head matches because they know they
Yeah.
want those out of conference games to matter. They want it to be
Yeah.
known. Like if you win, like we're not gonna punish you if you lose bad, but it depends. Like for people who thinking they want to punish Texas very badly, it's like no, the only reason they punished Texas because they had 3 losses. The
Yeah.
Florida loss was the biggest reason. They were better than that Florida team in my opinion, but they played like garbage. So because you lost that game, you couldn't get in. And with Bama, it's like the one worst loss they had was that Florida State loss. But they did go out of their way to beat multiple, I think, great teams, regardless. I mean, we all know it's SEC bias, but still, they did beat like what? 3, 4, 5 ranked teams. And then one of the teams, like Georgia, they blew them out in the conference title game. But what people tend to forget is that Alabama blew out Georgia in the regular season. So, like, there's a head-to-head matchup between them two, and it's 1-1. And they both blew each other out. So they weren't going to punish Bama over that. They weren't, because it's like, these two teams faced off in the regular season. Bama already beat them. Now they face off again in the SEC title game. Georgia beats them, so we're gonna keep them in there because guess what? They also want conference title games to matter. Why? Because we don't want to punish you. We want these conference title games because A, they make money,
Yeah.
and B, it's really gonna actually try to make college football more enjoyable to watch if you do have that along with the money. So you're gonna make those conference title games matter, and you're not gonna punish them. Like people will say, well, what about BYU? Well,
They
here's
got
one problem.
punished.
Here's one problem with BYU. You got beat by the same team twice.
Yeah.
And you got blew out. So, like, no. That's the only difference. Like, at least with Bama, them getting blown out by Georgia, you beat them in the regular season. Whereas with, like, BYU, you didn't beat Texas Tech at all. You got your butt kicked by Texas Tech. So,
Still though, you can't sit there and say we're not going to punish this team for losing in a bowl game, but we're going to punish that team for losing in a bowl game. That's
yeah,
that's
you
not
shouldn't
right
do
either.
that. But at the same time, I can see why they did it with BYU. Because it's like with BYU, it's like, nah, dog, y'all got beat twice by the same team. Like, we can't with y'all. Even though I think they wanted to, on top of the fact that I also believe there was a bit of politics regarding the regarding the ACC because I think there were politics regarding that too. Because it's like you can't tell me you're not going to have like at least one ACC team in there.
And that's what it came down to. Like Notre Dame, like what are we doing? You want to be in the ACC for basketball, but you want to be in the ACC for football? Like, and look how that can beat you in the butt right now. Because if you were literally in the ACC, who knows? You know what I mean? You probably be.
They would have pushed for y'all to get in there.
Exactly.
Like that's the point of being a part of a conference. Like they'll back you no matter what.
Yes.
Well, here's the trouble, guys. They put two group of five. These James Madison and Tulane. I'm sorry, but
I will say Tulane is a good team, and they do have a chance to beat Ole Miss.
They don't have a chance to go far. I mean, Vanderbilt.
No, they're not going to go far, but they could beat Ole Miss.
Those group of five schools need to have their own tournament. They don't deserve to be in this tournament. I'm sorry, but they have no chance of winning 4 games to win a championship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they can beat at least one Power 4 school, but multiple, you not, nah.
Sorry, Vanderbilt, Texas.
Oh, no, that's the other thing, too, because Vanderbilt, someone actually made that, and Vanderbilt took shots at Notre Dame, actually, because they said, hey, look, we had 2 losses against Georgia and Bama, and we didn't get in, even though we deserved to be in. But guess, like, even though we could have went in, but those 2 losses are on us, though. So, like, if we didn't get in, that's on us. And we're going to continue to play the bowl game regardless, because, like, this is a tremendous experience. So, like, when you got people in the SEC, in the Big 10, in the Big 12, and in the ACC all taking shots at you for that, it's basically everybody saying, either you join a conference or this is going to keep happening. And you can't keep scheduling these bottom tier G5 schools, because people could say, well, no, you have too much of a cream puff schedule, as Chris and Andre saying here. You do. The one good win you have is against USC. Now, like, that's your only good win. It's your only good win.
Well, the thing is they lost. When they did play good teams, they lost.
Yeah, that's the other problem. It's like you guys, like, if you guys don't want to join a conference because you know you're going to lose a lot, well, then that's on you, because it should say make your program better then.
No,
that's not anybody else's fault.
They didn't join the ACC because they wanted that money and not share it with them. So, I mean, that's why they don't do it, because they want to pocket all the money. Well, you know what? Come back to bite you in the butt, so don't cry about it.
Oh, yeah, like, that's what it always is. Like, if you join a conference, yeah, you're going to have to share the money like all the other teams, but guess what? It's going to bite you in the butt sooner rather than later, and now your fans want you to become a member of a conference. And again, the specific conference they want is the Big Ten. They don't want the freaking ACC, which they shouldn't, because the ACC, while they are a conference you might want to join, they are trash in a way. But let's be real, you want to join a conference regardless, whether it's the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, or the SEC. You're gonna have to join a conference, because you ain't got no choice now, because none of these schools, none of these conferences are gonna back you. They're gonna do everything they can to push you out. It's gonna happen. Unless you join one of them, they're not gonna push for you to get in. No one is, to be honest. It's not gonna happen.
You know what's funny is Michigan was sitting there threatening to go independent. I said, go ahead and go independent, and you guys losing 2 or 3 games.
Oh no, they weren't gonna go independent. They knew it.
They're threatening to go independent if this thing goes through. So go ahead and go independent and see what happens to Notre Dame.
No. They know better. They know better. Like, nah, go independent if you want to. Ain't nobody finna try to help you get in. Nobody like you. Nobody likes you. Everybody will want you to get out and go be an independent program so they can make sure you never get in the playoffs.
It's about being in a Power 5 conference, because it's all about the money. Notre Dame, I'm sorry, like, when I was growing up, yeah, you guys had this allure. You guys, I watched you all the time on NBC, but now, unfortunately, they don't get watched like that anymore.
They don't.
So,
they used to be a good program once upon a time. That's why they had that allure. But then when you see as the years went on, they weren't as good of a program as they used to be.
Because
it's like they started
programs like the Big 10, the Pac-12, the SEC started to take over in the last 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, you might play USC, you might play a couple of Big 10 schools here and there or whatever, but you're not in the conference. At the end of the year, those teams are playing for conference championships, right? And they're competing for national championships, even though Notre Dame's been to 2 within the last 20 years. Or is it? Yeah, it's 2, right?
Yeah, it's just 2.
Yeah.
Except they did get one of their appearances vacated because of academic dishonesty, which rightfully so, because you shouldn't. That is just
the last time they won one. So
yeah.
The last time they won one, I think, was like back in the 1980s.
88. They got killed by Bama that one year.
They got killed by Bama in 2012, and then they got killed by
They
Who was
got
it
beat
that
by
got?
us last year.
Oh yeah, no, they got beat by us that year before. Yeah, so like those they got killed by us. We just ended up taking our foot off the gas pedal, which so the score looks a lot closer than it should. But no, but that's just reality. It's like for Notre Dame, you got to join the conference. You're not that same team you once were. Like, first of all, Ohio State has more of that allure than you do. Like, you're not seen on the same level because for the NCAA, if Ohio State continues to play bowl games and they don't care, like, oh, they're fine with that because that is the moneymaker for everybody. The NCAA, for the Big Ten, for TV, for the media, that is the money. Then Bama and Georgia, like as long as they're all playing, we don't care about you. You're irrelevant right now. So like for Notre Dame, when you kind of realize that no one cares that you're playing, that you're irrelevant, that people don't care, like you're not seen on that. Like until you join the conference, nobody's gonna care to watch you. That's when you're gonna really start to realize, oh dang, we might want to join the conference because otherwise that's gonna keep happening because everybody gonna screw you. College football is a business now. It's a lot like the NFL where like money matters, and it's like schools are going to do everything they can to screw you over just to make money. Conferences are going to do that. They're going to screw you over any chance they get. And unless you join a conference, they are going to screw you big time.
Well, guys, this has been a heck of a show. We've been on here almost an hour and a half.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
EJ,
Almost.
thank you, brother, for coming on.
No, thank you. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Guys, me and EJ and Knoxville Nate have been talking about doing some videos together and
Good.
popping them out for you guys. EJ's, gonna kick it with us a little bit. Like I said, he's gonna be on Patreon now in the message board, so
Yes.
you'll get a chance to chop it up with him and interact with Nate. Interact with EJ. And then me and Nate are gonna drop a couple videos with EJ and see how everybody likes that stuff.
Yeah.
Forward.
So before we almost end this off, here's one question we all gotta ask: who should be the replacement offensive coordinator at least for the postseason, and who do you think should be the full-time offensive coordinator moving forward?
Ooh. I mean, I'll put it in Ryan Day's hands. Because he's been there and I'm sure he has to say whether to veto a play anyway.
Yeah.
So I would just trust him with that, even though Brian should still be there, but Ryan's probably gonna take a little bit of more of the lead, because he understands what Brian has to juggle with or whatnot. So I would just stick with Ryan.
If I asked that because we do have people throwing out some names, and one of them, Brian, Shaun absolutely hates.
Don't bring Brian Daboll on here. I lose my freaking mind, man. What he did with the Cleveland Browns was a disgrace, man. He's a horrible play caller. The only reason he won a national championship is because he was on Nick Saban's team, man. So
the only person, just like what the coach are doing, like how they just signed Phillip Rivers, because he understands the system of that coach, and he coached, he played for him. Bring back Chip Kelly.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Bring him back. Now, if he doesn't want to be a full-time coach, you can bring him. Like if he did. Now, here's the thing: you could bring him back for specifically just this playoff run.
Yeah.
But there was this thing we talked about doing with the coaches, where it's like you could put him up in the box as an offensive analyst.
Yeah.
To for the season, like for the rest of his coach. Because if he doesn't want to be the offensive coordinator for moving forward, you could just put him up there to be like an offensive analyst to help out with play calling or to help out with until you find your next guy. Because I've been thinking about a lot of ways they could do with this coaching staff as far as the analyst side. Because I was always thinking to myself, with this new coaching rule, the analyst should be like a second coaching staff.
Well, guys, Chip can go up say Brian stays down in Florida. Chip can go up in the box, get on the headset with Ryan, and Ryan trusts him, and Chip can tell him whatever he's seeing, whatever he thinks will work, and help Ryan. If Brian leaves, and you got to have Ryan Day call the plays the rest of the season, I'm fine with that. But I want to bring Chip Kelly back next year. That's my bet. That's who I want. I do not want Brian Daboll here.
There is another way they probably could bring him on, because the only way that I think they could is if they bring him on to coach either tight end or wide receivers, which he does have a history doing.
No, I'll go right back to Chip because he was just here last year. He knows the players. He knows the scheme. So that would be an easy transition. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah,
it's,
no, I'm just saying, like with Brian Dable, I think they're probably gonna bring if they ever were to bring him on, it would only be as a either receiver coach because he does. I did check out his history and he does have some really good receivers he worked with. But I'm not saying you should bring him back for that. I'd rather have either Ted Ginn, Chris Carter, Santonio Holmes, who's currently coaching, or somebody that has at least some experience as far as developing receivers, like Arizona State's or Arizona, whichever one of the two he coaches for, Heinz
Ward.
Warren. Yeah, him or somebody else, somebody.
Antoine Randall, I've heard mentioned too. I'd love to have Santonio come back, but let's not forget, just because someone's a great player doesn't mean they're going to be a great coach either. So
I know not it usually don't work that way, but I will say for Ohio State, apparently it has worked
it,
so far.
it has worked. So,
So far. And the only other guy I see it, like if you want to bring somebody in to be an assistant to Larry Johnson since like Alan Clark left, the guy I kept bringing up was Pepper Johnson because of how he was doing as a coach. Bring
Pepper
him in, please.
Pepper Johnson would want to be trust me, he'd want to be a defensive coordinator or a linebacker coach. So, I mean, the guy's a legend.
I mean, he could do either. I mean, if you want to, you can bring him in as an assistant to like James Laurinaitis, because at some point, because there was this talk about like Laurinaitis potentially going with Brian Hartline to be the D coordinator. Now he's probably not going to do that now, but he could be a D coordinator at some point because you're going to need somebody.
But I still believe Pepper's coaching somewhere else right now. So
actually, he's not. I think right now he hasn't been. Yeah, he has. I checked the last time for updating. He hasn't coached this year.
Okay.
For a year. So it's like, I think that if you did want to bring him in, I don't think you have a problem with it. I think he would be interested because this is his alma mater for God. And for Ohio State, because he has the history of coaching in the NFL, it makes a lot of sense. And like I said, there's a lot they can do with this coaching staff. Like I said, the analyst to me should be your secondary coaching staff. I say this for this reason. You should have an analyst booth where you have it for each position coach, but you also have it for your offense and your defense. Like, for instance, one thing I was thinking, like with Chip Kelly, if he's in the offensive side, you can make him like the offensive quality control coach, like someone who just analyzes for the offense, like helps break down what the defense is doing to help relay plays, go through talking with the offensive coordinator and the head coach about what play you should call for this particular defense, and vice versa with the defensive, with being like the defensive quality control coach, which is like basically doing the same, like pretty much what James Bod is doing for Matt Patricia right now, which is being your eyes in the sky and helping you relay what the offense is doing. Like, that's what I'm saying. And then you can have like a head quality control coach that can basically be like the communicator with the head coach to help sort through certain things, like going through penalties and replays and stuff like that. You pretty much have like a coaching staff built up in the analyst booth the way you already have it on the field. You're just doing it differently, where they're analyzing, breaking down, they're helping the coach on the field, they're helping you with replays, how to make certain decisions. And more importantly than that, they're also going to be like, since analysts can coach in practice now, while the main coaches, the running back and the head coach and all them are going off to recruit, they can stay back and coach the offense and the defense, and it seems like nothing ever changed. So at least it helps you be more flexible with your coaching staff.
You know, I understand that point for sure.
Well, guys, it's been my bookie.
Yep.
I don't
my bookie. No, that was for Thanksgiving the last time we had.
Okay.
So well, guys, you do it regularly.
Guys, if you want to, we are sponsored by mybookie.com. If you do not have any place to gamble, please check out MyBookie. I'll put in the promo code Ohio. You will get bet insurance up to $500. So if you don't have an account there and you put in Ohio and you make $500 worth of bad bets, you'll get insured for it. So guys, heck of a deal. Please check out the Patreon channel. We have a lot going on, some awesome shows. TG has a show on there. We have a great message board run by our producer, Buck Vader. And EJ is going to be kicking it on the message board too. So, man, there's going to be a lot going on. Mika has a blog on there too about all the recruiting going on. Chris and Eric have shows on there too. And we watch games every Friday. We've been watching live games on Fridays, just kind of as a hangout, and watch the live stream games, and you can watch the playoff games. I'm sure we'll do a couple college games coming up, and doing the Ohio State basketball games now too. So
Yeah, not only that, but you guys can also catch Shaun's show after the season is over with, where he can be with guys like EJ breaking down plays from former Buckeyes during their time playing. And obviously on mine, you can just see the NFL rundown where I'm pretty much breaking down all our Buckeyes in the NFL and their teams and what they're doing. On top of that, if you guys are part of our chat, you're going to see a whole ton of updates. And more importantly, don't forget to check out the a bunch of shows that will be coming out. Obviously, we all know Thursday, me and myself with Mika on the Buckeye Lounge. And I'll even go more into detail as to what I'm thinking about as far as what they could do with the coaching staff on the analyst side of things, as well as breaking down the Big Ten title game, myself and Mika, and all of the conference title games, and even future moves regarding the college football playoffs, and obviously our offensive coordinator and wide receiver coach openings. And don't forget to come on this Saturday. I think we will be doing a Saturday show, if I'm not mistaken, are we?
I'm not sure. So
All right. Like, if we're doing a Saturday show, I advise you guys to check it out. In my time, it would be around 9 a.m., and you guys' time is around like 10 a.m. So if you guys have the opportunity, if they do a Saturday show, check it out around that time. And don't forget the Monday call-in show that would be done by Chris, as usual. Not Chris, by Eric.
yeah.
And then and again, if you guys want to continue to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification, turn on those notifications for so you never miss an episode. Share this with friends and family across all social media platforms. You guys have already helped us get a lot of subscribers. We are very close to 6,000 subscribers, people. Continue to hit that subscribe
Thank
button
you.
to help us get to 6,000. Thank you guys so much. Continue to help us. And don't forget to check out our merch store too. You want to support all your favorite co-stars here on the OHL podcast. Buy our merchandise and help us get pretty much financially secure, is what I will say. Because look, help us out with that one, okay? This is gonna be. We couldn't do this without you guys. Thank you a lot.
Guys, if you can't afford anything, we just appreciate you coming in here and supporting our show, man. So
Yeah,
you don't have to buy nothing. We just appreciate if you can afford to do something, we appreciate you. If you can't, we just appreciate you watching and
and helping our
commenting
show go.
and liking our show and promoting it. We love you
Oh,
guys.
by the way, guys, don't forget, be active in the comment section. Hopefully it does stay active, because I noticed with me and Mika's comment section on the Buckeye Ladies, for some reason there happened to be a problem where it's not there. Do not know why. It just wasn't. But with everybody else's, it is. But hopefully you guys get in the comment section and help us get the algorithm out there, because not only watching and liking and sharing our shows help, but commenting in the comment section can also help get our algorithms out there to more people as well. So leave some comments in the comment section if y'all can.
Guys, I promise this channel's only going to get better, and we got a lot of cool stuff planned, and we got some new stuff coming at you, some exciting stuff, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I promise you.
All right, so we're gonna end this as we always do, guys. OH. Go Bucks. Yep. Go Bucks, and scum still sucks. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Everybody have a blessed one.